Hello Pisces, welcome to your tarot reading here on Dove and Serpent Tarot. This is a timeless reading, so whenever you happen to be watching this reading was meant to find you. Please hit the like button, leave a comment, and consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And there is a Princess of Cups. That's very interesting. Let's put that into some perspective. Let's use our Dove and Serpent spread. And, you know, as I lay these cards out, I would also like to offer, if there's anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know in the comments. Okay. Now we're going to finish up using the Path of the Serpent over here. And this is, wow, this is a lot of major arcana. There's a lot of fire here too. And then we've got that water in the middle. Very, very interesting. I'm going to do a mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. We're going to use Rider-Waite-Smith. And this is the card that we are going to set aside. In fact, we'll put the frog on top. We're going to leave that right over there. We're not going to look at it until the very end of the reading. And, you know, hopefully that will tie everything together and give us the confirmation that we need at the end. Okay. So we've got the earth, we've got the fire, we've got major, 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 we've got that water court card. We've got major, major, we've got some air, and a fire court card. So this is quite interesting here. Let's talk first about this Princess of Cups. All right. I think that you are someone who is very sensitive to subtle spiritual energies, emotional energies. You could probably read people very well, you know. I think you're very sensitive to the vibes of others, you know, like you walk into a room and you can feel the atmosphere. You know, do you ever have that feeling where, you know, suddenly you walk into a group of people and you just feel like a chill, or you feel like a weird kind of heat or a weird electricity, a weird tingling sensation? I think you're really picking up on the vibes of the room. You know, the spiritual energy that is there. I think that you have quite a bit of psychic ability, honestly. And I'm not just saying that, you know, to try to feed into your ego or anything. I think you're very sensitive that way. I almost think that it's something that you never really wanted in your life. Maybe when you were a kid or a young adult, you kind of tried to ignore it or deny it. Like you didn't want to be different. You didn't want to have those kinds of experiences, right? With the princess here, I'm getting a feeling of youth. You know, I think it's something that began when you were young. And I think for a long time, you probably tried to deny it. You tried to ignore it, push it away, forget about it, pretend it didn't exist. But it was always there. And it was always, I think, I'm kind of getting a chill right now, to be honest with you. I almost feel like there's a fire sign person in your life that maybe has always been with you, you know? I almost feel, yeah, I literally have goosebumps right now. It feels to me like there is maybe a fire sign person that, kind of think maybe they're a Leo, maybe fire sign generally, I think. But I'm feeling like they've always kind of been close to you. And I think when you were a kid, you kind of tried to say, no, I don't hear it. I don't see it. Get away from me. I'm not, la, 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 it doesn't exist, right? But as you've grown older, I think that you have begun to accept this part of yourself. You've begun to accept this sensitivity that you have. And I see that with this, this Eon or Judgment card, this rebirth, reawakening. This is kind of a baptism by fire. This is almost, if we're talking about, because we have this fire sign person here on the Path of the Serpent, that's in the position of your relationships, okay? I think that you've had a relationship with this fire sign person. I don't know if you can see this. My I'm getting really, really bad goosebumps right now. I feel like this fire sign person has always been with you. But I'm feeling recently you've kind of opened the door to them. You've accepted them as kind of part of your life, right? You've not just tolerated them, but now you've kind of opened up a communication with them, right? Now there's a dialogue happening, right? It's not just kind of la 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 la, I don't hear, I don't see. Now you're saying, okay, fine. It's someone that's been here for so long. You've opened the door kind of to accepting that part of yourself. This, if this is an entity, if this is a spirit, if this is an intelligence or consciousness or something non-physical, that is something very personal and very, very private to you, right? And I think that you've accepted that part of yourself. Okay, so regardless of who this intelligence or consciousness is, this sensitive side of yourself, I think you've recently accepted. You've recently decided, kind of intentionally, to own it. That it is part of you. It's who you are, and you've opened the door to this. In a good way, in a very good way, because I think you recognize. Here's the 10 of discs. I think you recognize the value of your sensitivity, right? Maybe when you were a kid, maybe you were teased about it, or your parents kind of tried to, tried to get you to leave it behind or ignore it, or, you know what I mean? There's pressure for you to not be that way. But now I think you're seeing the real value. You're seeing that it's a real gift. You feel, the key word for the 10 of discs is wealth. I think that you feel that this adds a richness to your life. It's a God-given gift, and it's within you for a reason, right? You have these abilities, these sensitivities, for a reason. They're built into who you are. They're built into your soul. And I think for so long you were kind of denying them, but now you realize their value, And I think also what's going on, we have the Sun card right beneath everything. I think now you feel proud to be who you are, to have this sensitivity, to have these, call them psychic gifts or skills. I don't know what else to call them other than sensitivities. They're such a part of who you are now that they are kind of foundational to your self-identity. You may be working as a psychic or a medium, some kind of a healer. I think you're doing something where those sensitivities are now maybe even kind of creating some of this wealth in your life, right? If we look at the other side of the 10 of coins, this is coins. This is success in the physical realm. This is a state of using what you have to create abundance in your life, right? To manifest your skills and talents, your abilities, your energy into something physical and tangible that I think is going to support your life, right? It's going to create a stability for you. So in that sense, I feel that now you're making this skill, this talent, whatever, these sensitivities, you're making them work for you, right? You're putting them to good use, and you're creating something in life. So I think maybe you're starting a business in that kind of area, or you're working as a psychic or a medium or as a healer, right? Or as something along those lines, okay? I'm not going to run through every possibility because I know I'll leave something out, but it's something in that realm, right? And I think that with this universe or world card, you're kind of kicking yourself thinking, I should have done this sooner, right? For so long, you've been kind of denying this part of yourself. And, ultimately, this could be a guardian angel. It could be a guardian spirit, a spirit guide, right? It could be an ancestor. But I think they have this fiery nature because I think that they've been trying to communicate with you to push you into your own, to push you into your confidence, into your fulfillment, your expression, your creativity, right? Into identifying with yourself, with your soul, with who you are, right? So this was a motivating force, and that could be the fire energy. Maybe they're not a fire sign, technically. But they have fire in the sense that they're trying to motivate you. And the Prince, I know we're jumping ahead a little bit. The Prince of Wands is the heir of the fire. So it's this fiery, motivational, spiritual force that's trying to communicate with you. And I think to get you into identifying with yourself, like I said. Okay, so it could be a spirit guide, right? It could be an ancestor. And I think that with the universe or world card here, you're saying, I should have embraced this a long time ago. Well, there's no sense in kind of, having those kind of regrets, But now that you are doing this, you feel like the world has kind of opened up to you, that your place in the world is clear, that your relationship with the universe is more harmonious and balanced and clear, right? And you're resonating now with the universe, and the universe is resonating with you. So it's kind of like now you are this spiritual sun that is the center of the universe, of your own universe. I think we're all the center of our universe. If the universe is infinite, then any point event in time or space is the center, right? Whatever. But you're owning this. And you feel like you're exactly where you need to be. You're right where you need to be, where you're supposed to be doing the work that you're supposed to be doing. Right? And the 10 of discs up there is showing me that, yeah, you're trying to manifest these gifts. You're trying to put them to good use, right? You're trying to utilize them, not waste them, not squander them, not ignore them, right? You've opened up the door to these powers, these abilities that you have, and now you're going to be using them. You're using them for good, right? In the immediate future, we do have a 10 of Wands. This, I think, is a little bit of overextending yourself. I think that you're trying to give and give and give and give of this power, of this vitality, of this spiritual energy, of this sensitivity, these gifts that you have. But I think you have to be cautious because you also need, because of your nature, I think, with this Princess of Cups, I think that you also have a need to kind of to isolate a little bit, to sequester yourself to recharge, right? So the 10 of Wands is the fiery energy that's just been going out and out and out and out until it's like exhausted, right? Until it's just like, you've been up for days and you just keep drinking coffee and you just, you really need sleep, but you've got to keep working and working and working. You've got to sequester yourself a little bit and withdraw into this water energy. You're Pisces after all. The water is very important to you. And you need to heal and restore, replenish your energies, hydrate, right? Physically hydrate, spiritually hydrate too, okay? So I think that's what the 10 of Wands is all about here. Now, on the path of the serpent with the 5 of Swords, I think we've opened up this dialogue now between you and this ancestor, this spirit, this non-physical intelligence, this consciousness, this spirit guide, this guardian angel, whatever this is representing. You've opened up this dialogue. Okay, the 5 of Swords. It's about conversation that is dynamic. It's an exchange of information, not always going to hear what you want to hear. Okay? Very important. People may go into a situation like this thinking that this ancestor, this spirit guide, this guardian angel is going to just flatter our egos, make us feel better, console us, tell us how great we are, tell us that everything's going to be okay. It doesn't always work like that, in my experience. Okay, I'm not speaking for everyone. I'm not speaking in absolute truth. I don't believe in absolute truth. Relatively speaking, I think this sort of non-physical intelligence, guardian angel, ancestor, spirit guide, is going to tell us what we need to know, not what we want to hear. Okay? And if you disagree with me, feel free to leave a comment. I'd like to hear about your experience. I really would. But I think that this is really you having the important dialogue with this force that is going to give you the direction that you need, that is going to, will let you know if you're doing something inappropriate or you're doing something not quite right. We'll also let you know when you're on the right track, of course, but won't hesitate to correct you if you need a little bit of course correction, right? Now, we've talked about the Prince of Wands and how that is the fire energy, the motivational force, the spiritual force that was trying to communicate with you. I think now you've opened up the door for that communication. You've accepted that into your life. You've accepted your gifts, your sensitivities, your powers, whatever you want to call them. And now, Lover's energy. This is the Lover's card. But it's in the position of what you don't want. So first, we'll address that. What you don't want is to be distracted from your true purpose by something frivolous, right? You don't want to be distracted by just the whims of your heart, or your desires, your impulses. So you're trying to maintain that discipline, right? That commitment to what you're doing and not be just tempted away by nonsense, by frivolous things, okay? Because the Lover's card sometimes is talking about us getting entranced or enthralled by something that's just kind of superficially beautiful, right? And appealing and alluring, but there's no depth to it, right? It's just kind of a shallow thing. You don't want that. This is what you don't want. So you're avoiding this. This is also a card that talks about really uniting with what is important. So we're avoiding getting involved with frivolous things, and we're working towards strengthening those important bonds with ourselves, with this entity or ancestor or spirit guide, with the universe in general, with other people, right? With the work that we're doing and how we are connecting with other people. The work that you do is meant to bring people together, not to drive them apart, okay? So that's the Lover's card. I think it represents, like I said, represents what you don't want, but it also represents what you're trying to do with your work, with your powers, with your gifts, with your sensitivities. You're trying to bring people together with themselves, together with their family members, their loved ones, with their spirit guides and ancestors, whatever the case is. You're all about bringing people together, okay? Even if that sometimes means that you are kind of having to go it alone, right? We have the Devil energy here. The Devil energy is, you're so focused on, I'm just kind of getting a chill again. Anyway, I just kind of felt a heaviness from over that side of the room. Anyway, the Devil energy here, I feel like you're trying to bring everyone together, but you may be sacrificing that need in yourself. And that could be, again, why we have the Lover's card here. Could be that you are almost willing to give up your own kind of earthly romantic bonds or strong interpersonal bonds, family bonds, in order to devote yourself to this work that you're doing, right? I almost think we'd see a hanged man here. So it's kind of like you're willing to sacrifice this Lover's energy in your own life so that you can devote yourself to bringing other people together and doing these things for others, right? Now, I don't know if that's resonating with you. Because I kind of feel like you're not the type of person that's going to sacrifice their own love relationships for this kind of divine mission, this divine work that you're doing. But maybe some of you are. Or maybe you're entertaining those kinds of ideas. Maybe you're considering that in yourself. You're like, am I willing to forsake these kinds of love relationships so that I can focus on these God-given gifts, right? There's no reason to assume that you can't have both, okay? But I think this might be something that you're kind of struggling with, right? Maybe it is with this Devil and Lover's energy that you are worried that you are going to be seduced or tempted by one of these love relationships that's going to take you away from this work that you're doing, okay? Just something to think about, okay? Let's do the mystery card now, because I'm very curious about this. I don't know if this is going to be some water energy, right? Because we kind of started with water and then we didn't really go anywhere else with the water, right? We just had the Princess of Cups and that was it. I'm not getting much of a sense. It feels cold. It feels very cold in here. We're just going to go ahead and look at it, okay? Queen of Pentacles. Interesting. So that's some water energy. The Queen is the watery aspect of the suit that it's in. So this is the water of the earth. And what we had at the kind of very beginning was this water and earth, right? So this is someone that is using their resources, using their gifts, using their abundance, using their wealth, right? For good, for helping, for spiritual purposes, for this divine mission, for helping others, for healing, right? I think it's some kind of healing work or something that you're doing. So this is kind of a nice confirmation because this is showing that you are intensely devoted to this energy, this spiritual kind of the spiritual task, right? This kind of holy task that you're doing. And you are basically putting everything you have into it. So there is that sense of kind of sacrificing things for yourself, for your person, for your ego, in order to devote everything you have to this work, right? But I think that there needs to be guidance here. 5 of Swords, guidance from this ancestor, from this entity, this non-physical guardian angel, whatever it is. I think that is that's going to provide you with the clarity that you need, or the insight that you need to find the way forward in your life, right? If there is an issue with this Lovers and this Devil card, these energies here, I think that's something that that you can work out with this. It's kind of a Gnostic dialogue, right? It's this spiritual conversation that you're having. And I think that is going to help you discern the way forward, using your resources, your wealth, your abundance, to further the work that you do, right? This spiritual work that you do. So having a confirmation card like the Queen of Pentacles to me, this is a representation of who you are and what you're doing right now. But this is kind of, there's still this, I mean, even looking at that figure, there is kind of some contemplation going. There's almost like this look on this person's face that they're just not sure about something. There's almost like a longing that we feel, right? And that could take us back to the Lovers and the Devil. Okay. It could be that we are longing for this kind of spiritual union with another person in terms of a romantic thing, a love relationship, a deep and intense personal bond. But then there's that other side of you that says you can't have that because you're so focused on this holy work that you do, right? So I feel that there's this longing. And it's through this Gnostic dialogue with this 5 of Swords that you're going to figure out whether or not you can have both, right? Because by necessity, they're not mutually exclusive, but is that right for you? How is that going to work out in your life? It's an intensely personal and individual thing, right? I almost want to do a couple more cards because I don't feel like that really gave us much of a confirmation or a conclusion, right? It just kind of feels like, yeah, that's where we are. That's what, we already knew that kind of thing, right? So I guess it was a confirmation in that sense, but let's do another one. There's a Knight of Wands. Interesting. Okay. That might still be representing this guardian angel, the spirit guide, this ancestor. Okay. And it seems like if their energy has shifted from the air, from communication, now their energy, the impulse, the vibe that I'm getting from this ancestor or spirit guide now is one of action, right? So it's almost like, okay, it's not time to communicate right now. Now it's time for action. Okay, so if that means anything to you. Another card we're doing here is Ten of Swords. That's kind of the anti-Five of Swords. That's like the anti, Gnostic dialogue. This is saying, again, it's not time to discuss, it's not time to think or consider, it's time to act. Right? So again, that card is saying it's time for action, not a time for debate, not a time for discussion. Now we have a Knight of Discs. That's fire now manifesting as earth. So it could be that you, the time to consider and to think and to question, it's not now. Now is the time for action, because there's something that you are constructing. There's something that needs to be finished, right? There's something that you need to do right now, and you need to get it done, right? So we have these cards. It says it's time to act. It's not time to think or debate or discuss, because you have to get it done. You have to finish whatever that was that you're doing, okay? And then perhaps after that, you can have this kind of discussion. Let's do one final. This is the last one, I promise. This is the last one. Yeah, now, then it's time to discuss the Six of Swords. That is the Gnostic dialogue that results in clarity. So we'll run through this again. It's time to act. It's not a time to think or question or consider or discuss or debate. You have to get something done. You have to get something finished. And then you will have the clarity. Then you will understand the harmony, the balance, the purpose of all. It'll all make sense. Six of Swords is the harmony of thought, the clarity, the crystal clear thinking. Okay? So I think Spirit or Ancestor or Guardian Angel is saying, look, you've got to act to finish this something. Get it done. Then you will understand. Then you'll have clarity. So if you're confused now, if you have this kind of longing now, this questioning now, finish this certain thing. And I don't know what it is. Finish this thing. And that will bring you the clarity that you need. Okay? There's something very important there. We're going to go ahead and do an extended reading if you want to stick around for that, and I hope you will. Click on the link right there. And you can have access to all of the extended readings for Pisces, but for all of the zodiac signs as well. Okay? I want to thank you so much for being here and for letting me read for you. It really was quite a magical reading that we had right now for you. And I'm so honored that I get to do this for you. This was your timeless tarot reading, which means whenever you happen to be watching this reading was meant to find you. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I do hope you'll come back and see me again soon.